Minnesota Vikings 23, New York Jets 17. Tottenham. They're out in Tottenham.
They are.
Spurs Stadium place.
Yeah, huh?
Which is outdoors, apparently. There was some rain that came through.
It's outdoors, there's no roof on it.
There's no roof.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it looked like a roof. Vikings 23-17. Vikings move to 5-0. Jets fall to 2-3. Vikings do it again with their defense. Andrew Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel Island, alive and well. His second pick six in 5 weeks. That's the Vikings edge rusher.
Yes. He's now putting together a bunch of these sort of quirky.
Next to Ron Bland.
No guy's ever done X, Y, and Z in the same 5-week period type of things.
Yeah.
You know, sacks, pick sixes, yada, yada. Yeah, incredible play by Van Ginkel. Incredible play by Flores to dial it up. We were wondering heading into this game, right? Does Aaron Rodgers, all 18 seasons of him, have a better chance to read this defense, diagnose it, and attack it in a way that the Shanahan quarterbacks and the young quarterbacks that they face this season do not? And the answer was no, not really. Flores got him a couple of times. I mean, he got him with that Van Ginkel pick six. At that point, it seemed to get in Rodgers' head because the next interception was not like a clever disguise, wasn't a complicated. He just missed by miles and overthrew his intended receiver, lobbed it right to a safety. Yeah, you got to say Flores did it again, and this time against a vastly more experienced quarterback.
Rodgers is going to finish with probably 3 or 4 turnover-worthy plays. I mean, look, I don't know how good he is now relative to just a few years ago when he was winning MVPs. He's always been good at taking care of the ball, though. Almost too much sometimes, right?
Oh, Rodgers got the Football Perspective, FBG Chase on Twitter. So after the pick six, that was Rodgers' 5th pick six of his career. Right. Somebody else had the stat that like Peyton Manning and Drew Brees had like 27 or something. Rodgers has by far the best pick six rate in NFL history, right? He had a pick six on basically 0.64% of his plays, right? The next closest guy is Steve Young at 0.96. So Rodgers is basically an order of magnitude almost better than anybody else in NFL history at that. He is the most unlikely good quarterback to ever play the game to throw a pick six, and was busy just airmailing the football to the Vikings defense all game.
Isn't Blake Bortles randomly on that list or something as a good pick six avoider?
This is only the top 5. The top 5 of all time are Aaron Rodgers by a mile, Steve Young, Ron Jaworski, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Montana. So it's a pretty good top 5, of which Rodgers is clearly the best.
So the pick six early ends up with 3 interceptions, including the game clincher. Again, Rodgers' game, like I don't think this Jets offense has been great this year. You know, they're in the bottom 10 in scoring offense. They don't feel explosive. They feel kind of methodical. But when Rodgers starts putting the ball in harm's way, you don't get that often. So the fact that Flores and the Vikings were able to do that, it was really impressive. Now you get this every time Rodgers takes a hit, too. He got rolled up on. It looked really bad for a while, but then he ends up coming back. I mean, it was he's at the point where I think every time he takes a hit, I'm kind of cringing, wondering what's going to happen. The last few games, been hit a bunch and, getting up very slowly.
Yeah, I mean, he took one shot in this game where his knee got kind of folded up on that had people worried. That certainly didn't look great, but that was the one where the Vikings had a roughing the kicker penalty, right? And on the punt, the drive stalled. Rodgers gets crumpled up on.
Yeah.
He's like, goes to the sideline. You go, Rodgers may be done. And then the Vikings take out the kicker's plant leg, 15 yards, drive extended. Rodgers like, oh no, quick, back in. And they scored at the end of that, right? They turned that into a field goal. So that was a swing in the game. It looked like it was heading Minnesota's way. And again, the Vikings had done, it's kind of the same script. They were dominating the Jets in the first half. So Rodgers throws the pick six to Van Ginkel, which seemed to sort of affect him. And you're like, this is one of those Rodgers games where he just collapses and implodes that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Airmails that next interception just way over the head of his receiver. Robert Saleh's got his head in his hands. Like, things are absolutely a train wreck for the Jets at this point. And then just before halftime, things sort of swing in their direction. They get a score. And all of a sudden, it's 17-7. You're like, this is actually a much closer game than it should be based off how it's gone so far. And again, all it takes is for the Vikings to stall for a period in the second half, and now you're under pressure. And exactly the same as Green Bay, only with a smaller lead. Like, instead of getting out 28 points, they were up only 17. But same story. Like, the Vikings dominated early, couldn't put it away, and then had to cling on towards the end.
Yeah, that it did feel like Minnesota's special teams was trying to, let them, keep the game close, essentially. You get that. They make the stop. They get the roughing call. Minnesota's offense didn't really do much to clinch it. Sam Darnold with another inopportune turnover. It seems like his turnover-worthy plays are – look, they've been playing with a lead this entire season. But he throws another bad interception. And it did feel like a lot of the Vikings yards were just coming through penalty yards, right? There's a lot of defensive pass interference, holding calls.
Some of which were very weak.
Yeah. That's, again, what you run into with, with the officials. I don't know. It did feel like there were some games that were penalty-driven. So I don't know if the NFL was trying to be a little bit tighter in how they were calling things to get more offense. They try to tweak the knobs, right? They turn the knobs a little bit. No? Is that not?
Mm-hmm.
They like to move the sliders. Is that better?
Influence the game?
Yeah. I'm not saying. They have emphases that they change to try to get results that are more favorable to the fan.
Yeah.
What? That's okay? Am I getting sued for that too?
I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, we'll just cut it. We'll just cut it if I'm going to get sued.
Anyway,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, some weak penalty calls in this game. But yes, it seemed like the best offensive play for either team was to just throw the ball in the vague general direction of Justin Jefferson and hope there's a flag on the play. Remember last week we were like, this was the first sort of glimpse that Darnold wasn't necessarily going to maintain the really high level of play, even though the numbers are really good. Well, this week was worse than last week, and the numbers weren't good this time. So this was the first sort of true Sam Darnold looking more like a pumpkin game. Now, he wasn't terrible, but this was the first game where okay, he's not playing at that level again.
Yeah.
Now, it was against the Jets defense, so credit them. But
that's why I predicted less than on his passing yard total.
Yeah.
Against this Jets defense.
Mm-hmm.
So Darnold throws a bad interception in their own territory. They're up 20-10 in the fourth quarter. It gives the Jets a little bit of life. Jets get within a score. Here's what I've seen from Darnold a lot this year, though. He's made those mistakes. He made it in the Niners game, did it in the Packers game. But when then the Vikings are up a score and he drives them down the field, did a nice job, hit a couple big time throws, came back and made a similar big in to Justin Jefferson, into tight coverage. Like, he wasn't afraid. He keeps chucking it. So I was impressed by Darnold's ability to bounce back. Led the field goal drive to do the dreaded we're up 6, right? Minnesota's up 6. One of those drives where they're up 3, they kick the field goal to go up 6. You really want to get that touchdown to seal the deal. They were unable to do that. Gave the Jets that one final opportunity to drive down. Everything's 4-down territory. And again, Rodgers throws a back shoulder to Mike Williams to the front shoulder. Stephon Gilmore seals the deal with the game-ending interception, and Vikings moved to 5-0 there.
Yeah, and that was another one with Rodgers where it was just a bad decision. Like, it was, sure, one-on-one on the sideline, but the ball was yards away from where it was supposed to be target-wise. Now, credit Gilmore. He fairly well-bodied Mike Williams on the play.
He left that way inside, though.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So, he's got hold of him. He's squeezing him to the sideline, and, Mike Williams is losing the route to Gilmore. But Rodgers puts that ball yards inside of where it needs to be for even to have a hope of him winning that back shoulder or whatever. It's not necessarily unreasonable to look at that and say, okay, he's losing, he's getting squeezed to the sideline, but I can hang the ball out at the sideline and let my guy go make a play. But you can't put it where he put it, because that was just giving Gilmore and nobody else a chance to make that play.
So coming out of this, of course, people are going to be saying, hey, Davante Adams, come on down. The rumors were already strong that he wants to go to the Jets. Does this make it even more likely? Because, look, when I'm watching this Jets offense, I still think Garrett Wilson's a very good player. Doesn't it feel like they are just missing any sort of dynamism? Nothing. There's nothing explosive about this Jets offense. Davante Adams doesn't solve that necessarily, but certainly gives you another guy capable of getting open, take a little pressure off Garrett Wilson, take a little pressure off Mike Williams if they do make that move.
To me, I mean, yesterday didn't affect anything in terms of that dynamic. Like, Davante Adams improves this offense. Yesterday did nothing to increase or decrease the amount that's relevant. Like, Davante Adams would have made basically no difference to the game yesterday. That was not their problem. Their problem was Rodgers was getting beat up by the combination of Flores' play calling and the Vikings winning on defense. Would Davante Adams have been open on a play here or two? Sure, but like, that wasn't their issue yesterday. So if you think Davante Adams is a good addition to this team before yesterday, it's still a good addition. If you think it doesn't make a difference, it still doesn't make a difference. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.